Good afternoon, IDX judges. We are the Plastic Bag Transformers. My name is Kyle Brunch. I'll be going over the problems we face, our solution, and our product idea. The problem is that every year, 5 trillion plastic bags are produced, but only 0.5% of them are recycled. That is horrible. Those plastic bags are going to our fresh waterways and into our landfills, never to be used again. Our solution is to gather these existing plastic bags and reuse them into long-lasting, durable sleeping bags. Our product, like I said, is sleeping bags. We've created our first prototype and our second prototype now, which are waterproof, durable, and reliable sources. Now I'm going to pass it off to my good friend Aleph.
All right, thank you, Kyle. So I'm Aleph, and I'm going to be talking about upcycling and why our solution is the way to go in the future. So why sleeping bags? Well, we wanted to target 2 problems with one solution. By taking this otherwise toxic material out of our environment and creating something positive with it, we're able to do that. What we want to do with our sleeping bags is to be able to provide them to some homeless people, creating a positive impact on our community. So why are we targeting plastic bags as our main focus? Plastic bags are one of the most convenient sources of plastic. An average family uses upwards of 15,000 plastic bags per year. And the average lifespan of these bags are approximately 12 minutes. With our product, we are able to prolong its life. Also, 100,000 marine animals each year are killed from plastic bags, either by confusing them as a food source or getting strangled by them. Recently, off the coast of Thailand, a pilot whale was found dead due to the large amount of plastic it had ingested, and the main killer was 80 plastic bags. As a team, we found this unacceptable. So what's the difference between recycling and upcycling? With recycling, you're taking the material and you're breaking it back down into its raw form. However, during this process, excess fumes and harmful chemicals are being released. When we were forming our product, we noticed that some of the bags said up to 15% recycled. But what about that extra 85%? With our product, we were able to use 100% of that plastic bag and transform it into our sleeping bag. And now I'm going to hand it off to Dana, who's going to talk about our production.
Thanks, Aleph. I'm Dana, and I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of how we made our product. So as you can see in step 1, we cut and folded plastic bags into convenient squares. Then we stacked these squares into piles of 3 and covered them with a Teflon pressing sheet, which is just a heavy-duty ironing sheet. After that, we were able to iron the 3 bags together, creating a malleable square. As you can see on our first prototype that Aleph is holding, we then sewed these squares together in a quilting technique. After that, we were able to cover all the seams with waterproof tape to ensure that no water was entering through the stitches. In step 6, we added a fleece inner layer to create warmth and comfort inside of the sleeping bag. After that, in step 7, we sewed the 2 sides of the sleeping bag together and then covered the outside of it with black plastic bags. We did this for 2 reasons. 1, it is creating extra waterproofing, and 2, it covers all the logos. After we had finished our first prototype, we knew that there were many improvements that needed to be made. So we seeked out for some expert opinions. We went to Langley Vineyard, which is a local church, and we talked to 2 people, Leith and Johnny. Johnny has experience with homelessness, and he gave us many valuable opinions that we were able to integrate into our next prototype. First of all, he allowed us to understand that the sleeping bag would need to be longer and wider in consideration for the cold weather and layering that people will need to do in the winter. We were also able to add a zipper, as Johnny informed us that when you unzip the sleeping bag, it can also be used as a tarp that he mentioned could go over shopping carts or anything like that. And now we can also see that it can be used as an open blanket that people can use on fields, at soccer games, at baseball games. It could also be used at the beach. And on top of that, we were able to find a way to iron all the bags together so that there are no seams at all. This is allowing a maximum waterproofing. It reduced the time incredibly. It also reduced the price a lot because now we no longer need the waterproofing tape. And on top of that, we were able to integrate all of Johnny's ideas. And now I'm going to pass it off to Kai.
Thank you, Dana. As your final speaker today, I want to do a couple things. I want to talk to you a bit about what we think is next for this product. So I want to talk about first, what we think is really important is outreach and mentorship. So what this means is like integrating more into the community and like the ecosystem of upcycling. And what that really means is like finding mentors in the community to hopefully like teach us how we can more ethically source our plastics and refine our production process. We think that's really important to get some insights into how we can more effectively manufacture these products, and also how to source our plastic bags ethically, so we're taking them out of like harmful environments and making the greatest impact that we can actually have. We also want to do endorsements and collaborations with other groups to hopefully gain insights and hopefully like more easily integrate with other groups that are already doing amazing work in this type of domain. Next thing we think that is really important to our message is establishing a brand online. So we want to share our education and hopefully inspire other people to take action by themselves. So we think that by inspiring people like with online blog posts and other messages, we can hopefully share our message and educate people on what they can do in order to inspire environmental stewardship and hopefully pass on this message. We have a blog coming soon along with pre-ordering to hopefully place a mechanism so we can have like a way to assess demand for what we're building. Last thing we think that is really important is expanding our product line. So while we have these very big, bulky sleeping bags, we think going forward, it's finding new ways to upcycle into more accessible, like keychains or bracelets is like a very good next step. So we can have a more accessible, lower price point product to get people more easily into this upcycling movement and hopefully get more people inspired by what we're doing. We also think that streamlining our production process is a really important thing going forward. So being able to decrease the amount of time it takes for each plastic bag or each sleeping bag to be made is something that's really important. The first one took over 20 hours to make, and our second prototype, we were able to drop that to an hour and a half. So we think increasing our tooling and the ways that we do this type of process is really important in order to improve how we're producing these things. That's something that we really want to improve on going forward. And also guidance on sourcing and production is something we've touched on a bit earlier. Finding ways to source these plastics in bulk and hopefully taking them out of the environment and doing them like ethical ways of sourcing the plastic is something we think that is really important. And also inspiring programs, so things like turning into 500 like plastic bags that you may have like otherwise thrown out to our like production facilities. We want to use programs such as that in order to incentivize people to upcycle and recycle with us. We are the Plastic Bag Transformers, and at this time we'll take some questions.
Thanks for your presentation. My name is Adrian. I'm with Plastic Oceans Canada. We did get to meet briefly downstairs. Love it. Have you, a couple just observations, have you met the lady who was making mattresses out of recycled plastic bags last year around Christmas time in Maple Ridge?
No, we have not.
Take a look because she's already got a bunch of momentum, putting
absolutely.
these mattresses out there, so it's something that could, go along with it. As well, have you ever looked at boomerang bags, which is a great initiative that started in Australia and now has gone open? It's gone all over the world and it has like a mapping system where people can start their own workshops and stuff. So there's two avenues that you could collaborate with right away. And are you hopefully aware that your product is really just a Band-Aid and you want to be at a point one day that you don't have any bags to make into sleeping bags? Or are you trying to look at expanding the product line and being able to actually have production facilities and mass produce these?
I think we can all agree that we want to hopefully produce these in larger quantities. The aspiration is not to make like 10 sleeping bags. We hopefully want to, if anything, be able to like publish this recipe online and hopefully inspire other groups to be able to, make similar products on their own, if anything. But hopefully we'd like to ramp up production, hopefully be able to like mitigate as much as possible on our own by producing as many of these as possible.
Thank you. My name is Katarina. I work with Foresight Clean Tech Accelerator. I repeat that for every team, just so you know who I am. So thanks for the presentation. Great product, great idea. I love that it's a prototype. It's right here. It's in front of us. And that you've iterated on that and you've improved the production times and everything like that. That's very impressive. Well done. Just as a suggestion for another collaborator, have you heard of Plastic Bank?
I don't think we have.
It's run by a local Vancouverite, and that is probably someone you should speak with. It's about recycling plastic as well and trying to add value through that. Second of all, companies, very responsible clothing companies like Patagonia, They're trying to reuse plastic. I know they're trying to reuse plastic bottles in like coats and things like that. Is brands like that someone that you're keen to engage with, work with? Is it for them to, you going to help them, are you going to source plastic for them? Like how do you envisage you're going to work with a brand?
Yeah, I think to answer that kind of question in context, I think Kyle would be best suited to where this fits into the whole ecosystem.
So basically, we want to be different than the bigger brands right now, because what they're doing is they're melting down that plastic into a liquid state, which is letting those unhealthy toxins like release into our atmosphere as well. What we're doing here is molding them down, so we're not releasing all those fumes up into the air, so it provides like a healthier alternative, so they're not damaging the environment as much.
I think also as high school students, a lot of the bigger brands are like taking plastic and they're making it into a thread. As high school students, we don't have that technology of like available to us right now. So yeah, the way we did it was through this.
Yeah, thank you for all for your presentation. I'm Alex. I'm the curator of the Ken Spencer Science Park and the Our World Gallery, sustainability themed gallery at Science World. And I guess to add on to here's some suggestions pile. For the flannel that you used in there for the fabrics, Fab Cycle in Vancouver is also a really good place that does dead stock fabrics and end cuts. That might be a cool thing to incorporate too, to fully upcycle the whole thing. Yeah, so my question was also kind of on the flip side of what just got asked, on the kind of community partnership side and the community need side of things. So after talking, it sounds like you kind of ground truthed with a couple of people who've experienced challenges with some homelessness before. So is there? I just kind of have questions about like how moving forward, how would you make sure that you're really addressing the needs that you'd like to be addressing, and is there a need and desire, and how heavy are they? How functional are they? Like how do you anticipate moving forward with the kind of social aspect of this?
Yeah, of course. I think to best answer some of the things we're doing in the community, Dana is very well equipped to talk to some of the people we've consulted in the community.
When we had talked to Johnny, he gave us those many opinions that he had. We did make plans with him. We're hoping to bring back another prototype that we have more improved. Maybe not one of these, but maybe another one that we're making in the future. And we actually wanted to have one tested. Like maybe we could just give one away and see what the person thinks about it, if they liked it, if what is going wrong with it, what they liked about it, just so that we can get more of a reference on how we can fix it and make it better for the future. We also obviously planned on like expanding our product line a bit, like making different things, such as like coats, something like that. So we'll definitely have these tested before we would go any further with them.
Great, thank you.